All right. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rana out of Houston, Texas. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode of the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. Today's guest is a very, very special one, straight out of Arizona, 100 degree weather, hot AZ. The guy who I know does a ton of subject to deals. He is here right now. We are live. Mr. Alan Whitworth. Alan has gone from being a foreman in the construction business to building a $2+ multi-million-dollar business, all from subject twos, and we're bringing the heat to you guys today. So, guys, once again, we're going to start very shortly. Welcome to the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. Good stuff. What up, Alan? How are you doing, brother? Welcome.
I'm doing great.
Anarchy podcast, bro. Absolutely, guys. We got people coming in. Drop your comments below as you guys are tuning in right now. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're subscribing. We are now streaming all across all the platforms right now, guys. Alan, welcome to the Real Estate Anarchy podcast, brother. What it do?
Hey, bro. Thank you for the honor, dude, to be on your podcast. I really appreciate the invite, man. And I love the opportunity to at least, give some information out to the people out there that might be, nervous about a lot of these aspects of real estate. And I don't know if I should just start talking, or you want to ask me some questions, or how you want to do this, brother?
It's just a straight interview, man. Absolutely. So tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. Tell us why you're here.
So yeah, like you were saying, I've been in construction since I was 18 years old. It was really either go into construction or go into the military, and I wound up getting a job September 11th. That's the funny part about it. September 11th, 1994 is when I started in construction. And yeah, I just worked my way all the way up through there. I owned a small company in Flagstaff for about 2 years when I was 23 years old. I was making about $500,000 a year. And then this is the funny thing, because you had a guy on the other day, I forgot his name. He came from like the drug world and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, so did I, bro. Like I grew up in a trailer park with a single mom, and it was me and my two older brothers, right? Straight up latchkey kid. Came home to nobody being home, left for school with nobody being there. And it's an interesting dynamic that I came from. So the reason I even say that, though, is because you got to put it into context that no matter what your circumstances in life are, you can make them better, and you can make them better faster. I never had a mentor growing up, you know what I mean? And my brother Jerry is actually in the Aryan Brotherhood, right? So he
the biker gang.
Yeah, prison gang. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Up there with the Mexican mafia. They like kind of roll. They kind of roll in tandem, but they're two opposite things altogether inside prisons. So I thought that's what I was growing up to be. Was, you know what I mean? Like I thought I was going to prison when I turned 18 years old. So I couldn't even tell how many times I've been locked up growing up. Like even before I was 18 years old, I think I was probably arrested like maybe 7 or 8 times, dude. They were trying to yeah, it was a weird situation, dude, but it was just like my mom was a single mom doing the best she possibly could to raise us, and we were 3 hectic ass boys. It was
awesome.
It was weird, but fortunately I started into construction when I was 18 years old, and my brother that I thought was my main father figure, actually I turned out to more be his father figure, because now almost everybody that I know from growing up is an electrician in construction, like literally almost everybody. And I worked my way into a foreman position, and then a superintendent position, and then ultimately a field operations position, which means I oversee all the I actually created an in-house manufacturing facility. So we're doing a lot of prefabrication work on hospitals and industrial buildings. And we also created a design element to that. So then we bring in all the foremen and they actually design out their jobs. There's only a couple companies here in the Valley that even do that right now. And both of them were the ones that I implemented it on. And the thing about it is like, I didn't even know how to spell real estate at the beginning of 2019, bro. I was spelling it freaking wrong. My wife told me in 2018, I was like, hey, what business would you want to do together if we did a business? And she's like, I don't know. I kind of think real estate would be cool. And like, let me back up just a little bit, man. I tried Advocare. I tried buying 900 numbers. I bought little, like, just all kinds of stupid little get rich quick things, you know what I mean, where you think you could develop wealth from, all fell flat. And the interesting thing about real estate is, as opposed to all those, real estate is actually me. You know what I mean? Like, I identify with it. It drives me. It's fun. All the nuances to it, because I'm one of those people that'll get bored real easy. There's so many continuing elements to it. It doesn't stop. You know what I mean? You could sit there and do a whole, like, wholesale deals are pretty simple. And I know there's a lot of people out there that want to make it seem a lot more complicated than it is. Just because they want to sell something, and that's fine, you know what I mean? But the reality of it is what separates the successful from the not successful, like we're just talking wholesale now, is action. Literally, people will sit there and just YouTube the crap out of it. Just, I got to watch this one. I got to buy this course, and I got to buy this course, and I got to buy this course. And I'm not saying it's bad to buy courses. I'm saying if you're going to buy a course, execute. That's really the separation. If you're not taking action, you're going to be successful. And unfortunately, and here's the other thing. We went going to a Tony Robbins event, it was like right at the beginning of 2018. And we wound up buying this course, right, for $30,000.
A horse, 30 grand.
Yeah, for 30 grand.
Man, what is it?
Like I was
selling for 2 grand, horses for 30. Bro, we're wholesaling the wrong business. We need to get into the farm business.
No, the course, the real estate course.
The course. I thought you said horse. Yeah. I'm sorry. Man,
yeah.
Horses for 30 grand? Where can I go get a horse?
Maybe that's the next play is start flipping horses. But the thing was their model didn't work. And I called them back up. I was like, dude, your software doesn't work. Your model doesn't work. How you're thinking I'm supposed to be picking up properties doesn't work. And I was like, you guys, and I was just ranting on them. I wasn't calling them to try to get any money back. I was like, you guys are an effing scam. And you know what? I'm sick of I'm sick of this crap, dude. You guys just try to build this up. You use Tony Robbins' name, which I'm sure he's pissed off about. And what they wound up doing was they wound up giving me about $22,000 of that money back.
Wow. So you stood up to the man.
Yeah, I didn't even ask for it, dude. I'm just one of those people, dude, that'll just tell you where you stand, bro. And you know what? Sometimes I'll bite my tongue. And I thought for a little while in the real estate world that if you piss off the wrong person, you're dead in the water. It's not the case at all.
That's not true at all.
You can create your own fate. Like if I lose a dispo company right now, I'm already building my own. You know what I mean? And I still work with people to move properties because I believe in us all making money. But at the same time, I'm still covering my ass on the other side to make sure I can always dispo. You know, and the thing about it is, I didn't even do my first deal until June of 2019. I went through months where I was like, dude, I don't even think I could do this. I don't even think this is possible.
Wow.
Like, seriously, like how the hell are these people, anybody getting deals? I think they're
So you did June 2019. When did you start real estate? Was it January 2019? When did you start real estate?
January 2019.
Wow. So from January to June, you took that leap of faith and you took that action, huh?
And I resigned July 31st.
Wow.
From
okay.
my $125,000 a year career.
Wow. Okay. Tell us more.
So it was weird because all the work that you put in up front. So like on a wholesale, just talking about wholesale real quick. On a wholesale deal, it's you're gonna start talking to somebody let's just say hypothetically, you're going to start talking to somebody in January. That deal might not turn into a deal until 5 months later. And all it is the continuous follow-up. And people will say, yeah, 9 out of 10 deals are all made on the follow-up, right? And that's the thing, is it's always the relationship. And everybody in my acquisitions team, so what I got right now, I got 3 acquisition managers, or I call them acquisition agents or acquisition managers, whatever, anybody else has different names for it. And they're all running their own leads. They're all producing their own text messages, which is 2,000 a day. I run ringless voicemail, which we do 5,000 drops a day. And then we have 4 VAs where these guys manage the 4 VAs for 2 days each for the 6 days in the week. And we keep track of our KPIs, and that's a crucial part of it too. Always being able to revert back to what was a good lead is crucial. 100% crucial, because you started talking to somebody in January, but it's not going to be until June that you actually close a deal with them. And it's just that time frame. So what you think about that time, once you start here, keep those relationships going, that whole machine continues to move. Whereas if you drop off your marketing at any point in time, now you're going to have a gap in that payoff as you're going forward. Obviously, you know this. Maybe a lot of people that might be listening to this know this, but there's a lot of people out there that might not. So honestly, it's heavily about the relationship. It's not even about the deal. It's not even, a lot of times it's not even about the house. We have a subject too that we picked up. It's a $335,000 house. I think we got it for $265 with a $40,000 private money lender in it. And we didn't even walk the house until yesterday. And we've been talking to this guy for 4 months. 3 months.
Wow, that's insane.
I don't even care about the house. I just care about the deal. You know what I mean? Care about the deal and the person themselves and what we can do for them. And then COVID popped up on this particular deal. I'm all over the place, bro. You need to rein me back in.
No, you're good. You're talking about your story. You're talking about subject twos. You're talking about a real estate course that took your money. We love it, guys. So if you guys have any questions, comments, make sure you're dropping them below. Alan came out the gate punching nuggets, man. He's dropping gems like no other. This is awesome. Now, Alan, from 2019 till now, you're telling me that you built a $2 million real estate portfolio? That's bare. That's a year.
Yeah, a little over that. Actually, so
wow.
My first company was Freedom Wholesale, which is a wholesale company, which I currently use that LLC to pay my family. But my partner John Berger and I like to tell, like I'm like the this is just tongue in cheek. I'm like the Karate Kid of Sub 2, and he's Mr. Miyagi.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and it was funny because he was coming after me for me to partner with him. And he had to try to talk me into it for like 3 months, which is the oddest shit ever, dude. But now I completely understand. We even set up a 6-month time frame. So when we did partner, we wanted to find out if we were going to be married to each other, if we wanted to be married to each other past the 6-month time frame.
Tell us more about that. How did you find the right partner? And how long were you guys dating before you actually decided to get together?
I started talking to him at a Phoenix RIA, and there was other people doing sub 2 deals that I was assigning it to them, but I wanted to know how to do the deal, and they weren't going to give me the opportunity to actually go through the entire deal. I started talking to John. I was like, hey bro, would you just partner with me so I understand the entire process all the way through the subject to deal? And he's like, absolutely. And then what that turned into is we kept talking to each other, RIA after RIA. And he's like, dude, why don't you just partner with me? Why don't we just partner all together? You know what I mean? Because I'm guessing I have like some kind of inherent drive that would complement what he has going on, right? Where he's more of the thing that's funny about it, the book Rocket Fuel, where you got the visionary and you got the integrator.
Yes.
We're both visionaries, bro. We're both ready, fire, aim guys. We're both shoot from the hip and figure it out later. But we got elements in our company that dial all that back in, and we just manage those elements. So where we do have a transaction coordinator that has way more detail orientation than I do. I suck at transaction coordination. I started doing that last year and did it all the way to January of this year. And obviously I still got to step in from time to time, but it's better that somebody else handles that because I'm not as detail oriented as that. And we also have a dispo person that's a lot more detail oriented and consistent than I am. It's Bro, I go all over the place, man. I think you can tell that I shoot
Awesome,
from the
awesome.
hip on
So let
this
me
shit.
ask you. I'm gonna bring you back on track now, right? We found out
Okay.
who you were. We found out why you're doing real estate. Your wife is a driving force. I can definitely tell. You know, especially being married myself, I understand how that is. A lot of us get into real estate for the betterment of our family. So that's definitely fair to say that you got into this to better your family. You know, so why did you pick real estate as a tool? What made you come to real estate?
It's sexy. It just
Okay.
is, you know? And like the thought that it does, honestly, the portfolio that I have right now doesn't even seem real. It really doesn't, you know? And it's the amount of cash flow that's coming into our company each month from that real estate portfolio, like you don't really even notice it, even though it's really significant. Just because we're doing wholesale deals to basically cash flow our operation.
Okay.
And as far as dude, just the idea that like maybe one day, I own some freaking skyscraper stuff, or you know what I mean, or maybe
Yeah. Little Trump
and
Towers, Whitworth
yeah,
Towers. Here we go.
yeah.
Awesome,
But
awesome.
the
So, I'm sorry. Go on. What were you saying?
No, but the thing about it is with every single one of these individual subject to deals that we do, there's actually, and subject to isn't always the proper term for it. It's more like a creative finance deal because it could be any number of things put together. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
subject to seller finance, which means it's owned outright and you're cash flowing the seller back, or subject to existing finance where you're taking over the VA, FHA, or conventional loan. Um, but the thing about it is each one of these is an LLC with a tax ID number. They're all
Wow.
individual LLCs. So maybe that's the best way to do it. Maybe it's not the best way to do it, but we got a really badass CPA that said this is the way to do it. So that's what we're doing, you know?
Awesome,
Um,
awesome. Now let me ask you: do you put these properties in a trust?
no, you just brought that up the other day, and that's something I want to look into, and just
Yeah.
to just to kind of understand that angle. I'm
Look
not
into
that
that.
yet.
That is a phenomenal way. So let me ask you, right now in this market during COVID-19, right? You've gone out there, you killed it pre-corona, pre-COVID-19. Currently, right now, how has COVID-19 affected your business? Because you're in a separate niche. You're not only dealing with pre-foreclosures, you're actually in the niche of subject twos, right? Creative, aka creative financing, and that's what is surviving and thriving currently in this market. So you were kind of set up for success from the beginning. So has your business stopped? Has it slowed down, or have you just rocketed it out?
So so I'll just give you rough numbers. I'm not going to even give you like the amount of deals we did because I prefer to just say what we closed. We did almost $90,000 in December, almost $90,000 in January, little over $45,000 in February. I was set up to close $120,000 in March and closed nothing because of
That's
COVID.
all right. That happens. Yeah.
Yeah, all the buyers backed out. I've had multiple buyers back out. Where deals that I was going to make $25,000 on, I'm now actually selling for about five. But I'm closing everything. I have a really high close rate, um, just because we mostly buy the properties right. Um, what I foresee happening though coming up, and like here, I'll even. So what we did was we closed about 48,000 last month, which is good, and we're on track to close about 50 to 60 this month. To me, that's not great because my goal is to close a quarter million. That's been the goal. That's been the goal since we started. Close a quarter million a month. Um, Obviously, you got to ramp your marketing up massively in order to get that level. But we have to be and smart and not just like shoot everything out there right now. So our marketing budget is currently right at $7,000 a month, which isn't a crazy
Awesome.
marketing budget. But once we get built up a little bit more, because we always run with 2 months marketing budget, no matter what. Just everything is 2 months marketing budget and beyond, because we also have to come out of pocket to close some of these subject to deals just for paying closing costs if we don't have a private money lender in there. Um, as far as uh, as far as what's this going to do? What's COVID going to do to our model? unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, it's gonna be great for us. It's gonna be fantastic for us. Unfortunately, it's screwing a lot of people, and that really really upsets me, dude. Like super bad. And it didn't have to screw so many people. You know what I mean? Because me and people there's actually a mastermind going on right in the other room right now. I thought our timing was a little different, but it's every Wednesday here at 3 p.m. But everybody's anticipating, like around the October November mark, that in Phoenix your typical foreclosure week is about 50 foreclosures a week. No, sorry, about 50 foreclosures a day. You're about 150 a week. Um, During COVID, it's dropped to like 2 or 3 foreclosures per day, 2 or 3 notice of sales per day. And it's always a standing 1,800 foreclosures at any point in time, always 18 in play, 1,800. Um, we think it's going to be a wave of foreclosures. And
Okay.
unfortunately, we're going to come in and capitalize on those opportunities.
Well, what type of
It's
marketing?
just the name of the game.
You touched base a lot about, a little bit about the marketing. What type of marketing are you currently doing to attract subject to deals?
So the subject to deals, we will use our traditional marketing for it, our direct marketing of running our VAs, our ringless voicemail, and our text messaging. But a lot of the sub twos, interestingly enough, come from agents and come from other wholesalers bringing
Wow,
deals that they're not
that's
able.
huge. Okay, how do you get agents or
And
wholesalers to send you deals?
well, so on the agent side, so what we always look for is the spread between PITI and whatever the rental rate of that property is. So
Okay,
let's say there's a PITI of $1,000 a month, and that rental rate is $1,000 a month. That gives us $1,000 to play with, right? So that lets us, like, if an agent were to bring a deal to us like this, so the thing about it is there's a lot of expired listings that just were never going to sell because the seller wanted $300,000 for their $275,000 house. Well, we'll come in there and we'll maybe negotiate with them a little bit, but we'll still give them more than the $275,000. We might even give them exactly what they're asking for if the numbers make sense. Because we could even go say, I should have had like a whiteboard set up here. We could even
yeah,
say, we'll give you as a seller, $20,000 so you can put a down payment on your next house and go move over to that one. And then say this one came from an agent, which they're going to want their 3%, right? And let me just back this. So like on a $200,000 house, if we're talking a $200,000 house, they're going to want like it's like $9,800 or something like that. I think is their commissions if I'm doing the math right. Well, if we have, so now we're bringing $28,000 into that deal. So we have to bring a private money lender at $2,800 or $28,000, and we're going to cash flow them back 10% on that each month. So we're going to basically pay them, to the rough numbers like 250, 280, which is a 10% number on that private money, and we're able to pay the agent for their money. We're able to give the seller the money that they want, and we can cash flow that seller potentially on the deal. And all at the
damn.
same time, we bring in a private money lender at a 10% return, 10% flat return. So like
Wow.
even let's even just talk about it from a rental aspect, where you say like $1,000 you're going to spend on a rental property. The 1% rule says that you need to cash flow $1,000, not cash flow. You need to bring in $1,000 a month on that door, right? So, but the thing about it is now you got management, vacancies, and renovation, right? So they're already taking 40% off that. Now you got $600. Well, now you got to service that debt as well, and you're going to take another $150 to $200 off that. So off that $100,000 investment, they're going to potentially cash flow $350 a month. Whereas if a private money investor came in with us on a sub two deal, we're just creating another opportunity for them to actually, like on a $100,000 deal. This is in exact numbers. I'm not pitching this to anybody, but they'll cash flow about $830 a month off of their $100,000 investment, which is over 2 times what they would get if they bought their own rental.
Wow. Wow.
So it's a
Okay.
win-win all the way around the board. It's everybody wins. And obviously they're in a second lien position, which isn't always great, but a lot of people like that. A lot of people don't mind. I mean, the banks don't mind giving you a HELOC in second position, do they? There's a
No.
reason for that.
So how many, let me ask you some technical questions because I like to learn a lot about subject twos. Also, we do many subject to deals, right? How do you set yourself up as an authoritative figure, especially in times like this, where someone is possibly losing their house, due to a job loss of, they went through COVID-19. Over 6 million have filed for unemployment, right? It is sad situations that are going on right now in our country. But, one man's loss is another man's gain. It is what it is, right? You wouldn't know anything about gains. I mean, I see your muscles and everything, bro, but come on, do you even lift? Absolutely, bro. So, all jokes aside, how do you structure yourself as an authoritative figure right now? Like, do you, is there a certain script that you use? Is it, how do you approach these people? How do you talk to them? That's the whole point about my question.
Like I was saying in the beginning of this podcast, is it's all about the relationship. If you're good at
Okay.
creating relationships with people, you can sell or buy, for that matter. And like I said, I don't even, none of these deals are going to make or break me. You know what I mean? If I come in and try to offer a solution for you, it's you come in pure of heart. You know what I mean? That's really how I stand out from a lot of different people. It's just, my intention is to make a better situation for you. Am I going to capitalize on this? Absolutely. I can't, not fully pour out, right? You know what I mean? So it's really from that mindset. It's nothing like strategic, like the Sandler rules, like you're going to throw something out and take it away and do all this little Jedi mind trick shit, dude. I negotiate by logic purely. And I take deals from people. I take deals from people that we could say are my competition all the time. I take people from disciples of those people that say I'm their competition all the time. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Because I'm
It's
true.
business.
You know what I
It
mean?
is what it is. Absolutely.
I,
We have a question come in from a viewer. Adam Metzler says that, did you put in writing your agreements? So I don't know what, Adam, if you can, say a little bit, maybe elaborate a little bit more on your question, but
so
are your agreements in writing?
Yep, absolutely. So a subject to deal, or if we're doing any kind of a creative deal, I mean, that's a better way to say it. We break down in our entire contract. We've actually created a contract that has some front end disclosures as well, and just to keep us all on the same page. We don't have any tight legalities that are gonna hang us up. We also do at the end in the escrow process when we close. There's a stack of disclosures, like a half an inch thick, that the seller has to sign to go through us, including things like limited power of attorney. So we basically can control the insurance and we can control the lender, not control, communicate with them throughout the entire process. And I know one of the questions is like, people are going to probably come up with the due on sale clause thing, because that's always something that you got to like think about, but it's not something to worry about, because our worst case scenario on that is we first position on the property. We're also with a very, very heavy hitting investor to offer due on sale clause insurance to people that want to do that with us on subject to deals, subject to existing files, because that's the only place that you need it, where there's a mortgage in place.
Awesome. I think Adam was asking, do you do your partnerships and JV agreements in writing? That's what his question was. Okay.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Everything has to be in writing and everything has to be super clear. Honestly, as far as like, if somebody were to bring me like a subject to deal, and literally we're going to close on it, we're going to bring in the private money, we're going to do the entire process, which it can get pretty heavy. And we're going to pay like a $2,000 assignment fee or a $5,000 assignment fee. Some people, we just do that by word of mouth, and we just check and there's no issue, because the thing about it is like a good reputation travels really slow. A bad reputation travels really fast, and we have no intentions of ever creating a. But if you don't know the person and you think, you know what I mean, there's could be at any point in time, absolutely, we'll put it in writing. And that's another thing too. Like, if I'm going to do a JV agreement with somebody, and just, this is out to everybody else there. If you're going to do a JV agreement with somebody else on a deal, it's going to be your deal that you pull into escrow, that you close on. Use your JV agreement. Don't ever use theirs.
Yes, that is huge. That's a huge nugget, because we run heavy on Dispo also, and we always use our contracts. That is a huge gem alert, guys. Absolutely, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. The comments are coming in. Adam said the relationships are key. Nice. People don't care how much you make until they know how much you care. Great philosophy and gains are there too. So I agree
I like that.
1000%. So good stuff. Now my next question is, I'm going to come to you, right? Let's talk about your market. Arizona is a very fruitful market. You got all the gurus in the country in Arizona. You got all the seminars selling, in Arizona, and then you got the real people who are doing deals in Arizona. Arizona has two parts that I've noticed because I've spent a lot of time with Arizonians. I don't know if that's what you call it, because we call it
I don't
Histonians,
know either.
Arizonians. So there's people who actually want to make you grow, and then there's people who actually want to see what you're doing, and then try to, I guess, get in your way a little bit, and stop that. But you got to have an abundant mentality, especially in this business. So how is your market currently as far as subject to deals?
Man, like honestly, like we've gone when we first started, we've just gone through months where we didn't have private money to dump into the subject to deals, so we were lighter on our acquisitions. And it goes right back to what you were talking about, that it's that either that scarcity mentality or the abundance mentality. When we knew we didn't have enough private money to acquire certain deals, we mentally backed off. You know what I mean? And it's not even like an action of trying to purposely do that. It's just like we knew we were going to have struggles being able to take on those properties because we didn't have the private money in it to get a diverse type of subject to deals where people actually want to walk away with money, or agents want to get their percentage. We're only able to target certain deals where we're just going to pay the closing costs and walk away with the house that's virtually free. But the thing about it is, the more, and the funny thing is, like this, people like talk shit about me, like about trying to get private money. And the thing about it, the crazy thing about it is it's falling out of fucking trees right now, dude. Because I set it up. Like, I apologize for the cussing.
It's all good. The Real Estate Anarchy podcast, baby. Let it out. Let it go. Let it go.
we set it up to where if somebody were to want to invest $100,000 with us, right, we would put that into a joint account and we'd start cash flowing them day one.
Okay.
And on that joint account, basically, we would have to have permission. We both have to sign for us to pull out any disbursement out of that account. But let's say I only need $20,000 for a deal. Well, I'm going to pull out that $20,000, and the person that brought me that person with that $100,000 is going to get $2,000 off that disbursement. Then now we got 80,000 left. So what if I pull another 10,000 out for another sub-2 deal? We're going to actually pull out $12,000, and that person's going to get a $2,000 disbursement. This all the way down. I mean, somebody just bringing us this is kind of the crack in the dam right here. This is kind of how this has happened. Us getting enough private money to do everything we need to do, and we'll still take more. I'm not saying we're done. The thing about it is like somebody just bringing us that person, they get $20,000 off that $100,000. You know what I mean? It's just there's so much opportunity in real estate. It just never stops. You know what I mean? And you can get as creative as you want, especially when you get into the creative side. You're like, okay, well, let's sit here. Like my partner and I, that's done this for 27 years, sits next to me that's been doing this for a year and a half. Well, just started learning a year and a half. I haven't even been closing deals for a year yet. We'll sit there and look at a deal and we'll see it two totally different ways. You know what I mean? Like, what if we do this and what if we do this? There's no box, guys. Like there's laws that could get you hung up. So don't get me wrong on this. Like when you start going through closing stuff out, you have to have your disclosures in your place and you have to have your contracts proper if we're talking about subject to, because you could wind up in a bad situation down the road. And that's the key thing is to not ever wind up in a bad situation.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And let me ask you. So speaking of winding up in a bad situation, right? A lot of these guys who are preaching subject twos don't talk about the legalities. Can you explain a little bit about the real actual consequences of doing a bad subject to deal, how you can get caught up, and what are the consequences in doing stuff if you don't know what you're doing?
Okay, so I mean, there's so many things to go on that one. There's when somebody signs an initial mortgage with somebody, they're actually creating a federally binding document with them. There's ramifications that if you don't have it proper set up in your disclosures addressing that, you could wind up with actual federal charges against yourself. So those are things that you got to know about. The simpler, that's the heavier hitting things. The things that you really got to know about is when I was talking about that PITI to rental rate spread, we always require, no matter what, that we have a minimum of a $300 spread. Because if the rental market turns at all, or there's any adjustment in the escrow and that spread gets tight, what if we're running it? What if we're walking into a deal at $100 spread and it turns around on us and all of a sudden we're having to pay out of our pocket to keep the property? You always want to have a minimum $300 spread, but you always want to shoot for like the $500, $600, $700 spreads. The disclosures, you have to be able to control the mortgage on the property. You have the ability to talk to the people. You have to have the ability to talk to the insurance companies. There's a few different ways that you can do the insurance on it, where honestly, I think some of this stuff, like I probably shouldn't talk about open like this, just because I'm not an attorney. Like I'll just say it like I'm not an attorney. This is just what I know from talking to the attorney and from talking to insurance companies as well. And this is all hyperbole, guys. This is not me giving you any legal advice. When you have the two insurance policies on a property, because you want to keep that first insurance policy that's tied to the mortgage in place, because if you get rid of that insurance policy, you could trigger the due on sale clause on the property, on the mortgage. So what you do is you want to whittle that down, have the seller actually whittle that down to the least amount of insurance on that property. And then what you do is you're now on title, and there's different aspects to this. So like on an FHA, you have to close with an attorney. You can't close an FHA with a mortgage company. They'll sell you the title insurance, but you can't close it with a mortgage company. They just won't do it. On a conventional, it's no problem with closing it through a title company and getting your mortgage insurance through a titling company. But those two situations, you take title of the deed of trust. Right, you're now on title of those properties. When you're doing like a VA, what you do is they either do like what's called a mirror wrap, or they do what's called basically contract for deed. So basically, we're going to write a contract with this seller that we're going to take over ownership of that deed of trust once we've fulfilled all of our obligations to paying off that mortgage. So we never actually take possession of that property. We're never on title of that property. So that particular one, we have that under an umbrella insurance policy where it's only just in the LLC. We're not on title of that property. Where the other two types of things, we come in as the insurance holders on those because we are on title and we possess the contract of deed. So we put our own insurance on top of it. So if there's anything that ever happens to the property, the insurance pays out through the person that's on title.
Wow, that's a huge nugget, especially for people who don't, honestly, I wasn't even aware of that. That's crazy. That is some ninja technique. So guys, if you have any other questions in regards to subject twos, make sure you guys are dropping them below. A lot of questions are coming in. So let me ask you, Alan, right? When you got started in this business, or you're currently doing the business, right? What are your 3 most favorite books that you like to read?
So that's a really interesting question. 1 Minute Millionaire, dude, that's a freaking phenomenal book. I think I read that one 3 times. The first one I read was Millionaire Success Habits, the Dean Graziosi, the picture that I showed you, me standing next to that guy. He was at a Tony Robbins event. Yeah, Millionaire Success Habits was a good one. But I think one of the main ones is Think and Grow Rich, for sure. And that's a timeless one. I think it was written in like the 1930s or something like that, and it's still a bestseller. Sure. Like that thing's like,
absolutely.
Here's the interesting thing. Instead of just the favorite books, the interesting thing is when I started reading, which was Millionaire Success Habits with Dean Graziosi. He was like saying in the book that he will never mow his own lawn. He's always going to pay somebody else to mow his own lawn because his time was better spent doing other things. And I was you're a freaking millionaire. Of course you could say that. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The link wasn't made there. And then I went like on a 3-year journey. I only got through about like 60 books, and I've only worked on a couple this year because I've been working on building my business. But the thing that the epiphany there was, I realized that they're all saying the same thing. There isn't no magical, mystical aspect to creating wealth. It's just a matter of setting your sights on something, learning something, and applying it. This is where people always get hung up. Like, sit there in the study phase, just like learning, paralysis by analysis, whatever, and you're never going to execute. And the longer and
Yeah,
longer you sit there trying to learn every little detail of everything, the longer and longer you're going to sit there stuck. And
absolutely.
the thing that I tell people is it's very important for you to, like, even in a wholesale deal, there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that'll be in this game for like 2 years and don't get a single deal. And the thing about it is like, I encourage people to reach out to me. I'll even give my phone number here. I'll give my phone number several times on this thing. I don't care.
We'll
Text me,
wait for the
DM me.
end
It's not
before
a
contacting you.
okay.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure,
So
for sure,
yeah, let's
for
move on
sure.
to our
But
next question. So what, I asked you about your books. You definitely have answered that. What's in the future for you currently? Are you going to stick with subject twos? Are you going to move from sub twos to doing some other stuff, creative financing? Like, what do you plan on doing with real estate?
we're looking at buying trailer parks nationwide right now. So if anybody's got any
Wow.
leads on that, let us know.
Okay.
It's just a really super sweet. It's not the sexiest thing, but it also cash flows a lot better than apartment complexes, and you have a lot more control over the domain there as well. I'm not an expert at it right now, but I absolutely will be. I mean, at least to a level that I can make money on it. And the thing about it is there's things going on right now in our operation that starting in the next couple weeks or so, we're going to be freed up with a lot of time, and both me and my partner are very get bored very easily, and we're going to execute as much as we possibly can to create as much wealth for our families as we possibly can.
Awesome. And I like to move to the next question. How is your family life currently right now, right? A lot of people don't understand, like, spousal support is very important, right? I was fortunate enough to gain spousal support, and make sure, I had to do what I had to do. I had to miss out on the birthdays and do that and sacrifice to make the business a success that it is today. So how is your family life looking? Do you have any kids? Are you doing the single? Like, what's going on?
I have 3 kids. My 2 oldest are 12. They're steps. They're about 3 weeks apart. I've
Wow.
adopted my wife's daughter, and she's adopted my son. And so we don't even have the other people in our family, but we also have a 5-year-old daughter. My wife is the most phenomenal person like that I've ever met in my life. She's super introverted, super low key, and I'm completely the opposite. But she's the person that brings me back in at any point in time. And the thing about it is one of the key things when you're starting into real estate, if you're working a normal job, what you need to do is take the money that you're making from your deals and just put it into another bank account. And then once you get ready to leave your own job, you just have that bank account start automatically paying you every single Friday, whatever your paycheck would have been. And it takes a ton of pressure off of you. Right now, I don't even have to exert effort in any way, shape, or form until September.
Beautiful, beautiful. There you go. And then you're gonna crack another $1 million. You'll be all right.
Well, yeah,
There you go.
I don't know. I don't even know what that number is going to turn out to be. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
might be
Like,
more.
um,
Absolutely.
everything's in the company. You know, and I stopped thinking on a frame of week to week pay, because that's the way I always was. I was check to check forever. Now it's like you think about keeping your marketing in play, keeping everything, the business in play, keeping your money set aside so you can close on other deals. And at the same time, you're staying 4 to 5 months out on your bills, no matter what. And it's going to be awesome one of these days when I get to the point where that doesn't even matter anymore. And that's ultimately the goal for sure.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. We've had a lot of questions come in, especially throughout the
Sorry.
entire podcast. Good stuff, man. So, one of the questions someone actually asked on my YouTube channel, which is not showing, it's not showing up on here, but subject to, is it legal in all 50 states, 51 states? Is it legal?
So right now we only do it in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, what I would do is, if you're looking to do it in any individual state, get with a real estate attorney, or you could even go to a title company that possibly might have an expert level like of understanding of these deals. So there's only a couple title companies even in Phoenix that'll do these deals. Just so you know. Um, that's not entirely true. There's a couple of them that are good at doing these deals, and I would just reach out to whatever your real estate attorney is, pay them the $300, ask them the questions. I don't think it's going to be Google really easily, but you could also talk to your title company. I mean, even companies like Fidelity, they have a legal team behind their service to you. If you're doing wholesale deals with them, they'll answer your questions on this.
Awesome, awesome. Again, we got another question or comments that expectations, how bad partnerships, because he looks like he had bad partnerships because it wasn't in writing, it wasn't trust, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. So you got to have everything in writing. I even tell wholesalers the same thing. Make sure you have everything in writing, because you're not going to get paid outside of HUD. You're not going to get paid outside of title company, no matter what someone tells you, or no matter how much trust or ethics they portray. So good stuff. So let me ask you, how can people actually connect with you after the podcast? If you are in Arizona and they are in Arizona, do are you currently, I know you're a real big go giver. How can people connect with you to learn more about subject twos?
Yeah, so I'll work with anybody in any state, regardless what it is, and we'll even help you research it if we need to. Um, obviously on Facebook here, like you could see it, it's just Alan Whitworth, AlanWhitworth. On Instagram, it's Alan David Whitworth, at Alan David Whitworth, simple as that. And my cell phone number is 480-506-6986. And please don't call me too much. It's because it's just going to bury me. But I respond to text messages relatively quick. And then if we need to wind up getting on like a Skype call or face to face, FaceTime or Zoom call or whatever like that, we'll move to that portion of it. So you can actually meet me and my partner and have a conversation with us to see what it is that you want to do and how we can help you do it. And
Wow,
I'm
that's
happy to help
awesome.
whether I make money or not. So.
Absolutely. I believe in the law of attraction, and the more you put out, the more you're gonna get. So that is a phenomenal way. Again, can you repeat your Instagram handle and your phone number, because a lot of people probably weren't ready for that.
It's at David Whitworth. That's ALAN David WHITWORTH. And that's my Instagram. And I haven't really even been on Instagram very long, so I don't have a ton of followers. Most of them are on Facebook. And I haven't really been putting myself out there for too long, but here's a good way to start that. My phone number is 480-506-6986. Again, that's
Awesome.
480-506-6986.
Awesome, awesome, guys. So if you missed it, you missed it. I'm not gonna write it in there. Make sure we keep the guy's number
Right.
private, but it's up to him to give it out. No worries at all. Alan, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. It was an honor having you on the show, man. I noticed a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, so a few people, gonna ruffle your feathers. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. You got to keep going. Don't let bring people bring you down. Don't let you're a wonderful guy. I've been chatting with you for a while now, and one thing I learned is that leaders always uphold people, and you're one of the realest people that I've ever met that does this business. So, and you're very low key, man. Building a $2 million portfolio in 1 year or a little bit more, it's not very common. Your results are not common, but you are very humble about it, and I definitely appreciate that about you. So thank you so much for being on the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. We certainly appreciate you. I know the viewers have appreciated. The comments are still, like I said, they're still coming in. There we go. Adam said he's going to contact you.
Yep.
He's in construction now. He needs to move the train forward. There we go. Absolutely, guys. If you need to get in touch with Alan, make sure you hit him up. Get in the guy's DM. You are going to get messages, Alan. Trust me. It happens with
Yep.
every guest I have on the show. People will bombard you with questions. And that's what we are here for, guys, to make sure that, I want to bring all the low-key guys out and put them in the spotlight, even though sometimes they like it or they don't. But it's awesome. You've attained some phenomenal success. I definitely wish you the best of luck. When I'm out in Arizona, I will hit you up. and we'll grab a bite to eat, definitely. And I love to, come out and tour your office. And if you're ever in Houston, come out to our office, and I'd love to show you the city. So once again, Adam, thank you so much for tuning in. All the viewers, thank you guys for tuning in. Rana signing out, the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. Peace out.
Thank you, brother.